Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing really, really well today. I'm Michelle Gailey. I am the creator of the Empaths and Sensors Facebook group and a few other things. And every week I come on here live and do some type of intuitive life coach training, tool, technique, or inspiration, either for you to use as a coach yourself. We try these tools on for ourselves. And if they work for us, I always like to share them with my clients. You are welcome to do the same thing. Or maybe you're just here to receive coaching because coaching works. When you hang out with people that are of like mind and who have the same desires, drives, and ambitions as you aspire to, it's very inspiring to hang out with those people, right? I think that there's this thing that says you are the sum total of the 5 people that you spend most of your time with. If you think about who you spend the majority of your time with, that's either going to make you feel really happy, content, or maybe a little sad. I have to think about that myself, and I have to put myself in places where I'm definitely with high vibing people that are where I am aspiring to be too. Okay, so that was just, that went a little long. Please say hello in the chat. Let me know who's here. I love to actually connect with you and say hi. I have somebody on here who says, Facebook user, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you too. I'd love for you to say hi in the chat. Okay, here's what we're doing this week. It's getting clear on your calling. Hi, Deborah. Good to see you here. Getting clear on your calling. How many of you, what does calling mean to you? Like when I say, what's your calling? What am I asking? Can you define what calling is? Hi, Andrea. Good to see you. What do you think calling means, or what does it mean to you? I don't want you to think about what you think it means to me. Like when you think about your calling in this life, what does that mean to you? Somebody just said, my sole purpose is my calling, my purpose. That's what I see it as too, my life purpose. So I want to take, 10 or 15 minutes with you today. And there's one thing to theorize, and that's important, but it's also, let's actually do some work together, because that's really what creates the change. Andrea said it this way: what your soul is here to share with others. That's so good. How I am here to help others. You guys, that's right. So I want you, how many of you are clear on how you are meant to help others in the world? How many of you are clear on your calling? How many of you are clear on your life purpose? Let's say 0 is I have no clue at all. 10 is I'm crystal clear in doing it. I'm crystal clear in doing it as a 10. 0 is I have no idea what I'm supposed to be, what my calling is, what I'm supposed to be doing. So 0 is don't know what I'm doing, don't know what my calling is. 10 is crystal clear and I'm doing it. Right. I think I'm pretty clear in living my life purpose or my calling every day. And I'm going to give myself a 9. Okay. Leona says 10. Andrea says, I was clear for more than 3 decades as a massage therapist. Now, not sure. Okay. You bring me to my first point, Andrea. Thank you. I'll bring it up in just a second. We got a 5, a 0, a 5, an 8. Type it in. Ask yourself the question, how clear am I on my calling? 0 is no idea. 10 is crystal clear and doing it. Really, type it in the chat. Do it for yourself and then do it to participate so I can really work with you. I mean, just knowing where you are is very important, right? It's like any map. Like we got to know where we are and then figure out where we want to go, right? But it starts with knowing where we are. Knowing where, that's what you're doing right now, knowing where you are. And then Andrea just said it. She was a 10. She was very clear for 3 decades as a massage therapist. And now she feels like she's back to now what? And that's my first thing I want to talk about. It seems to me that our calling or our life purpose or how we're meant to help people evolves as we grow older or as we grow in experience. Do you agree? Our life purpose is a continuous evolution. I think it mimics our own personal growth and development. That's what it looks like for me. Yes or no, do you agree? Our calling or our life purpose will continue to evolve. Andrea is a really good example for that. She just talked about being a massage therapist for 30 years. And now she's feeling this tug of now what? She's being called to something more or something new, not more, maybe something, another version of her more. Okay, good. So we're all in agreement. So that's our first mindset. Some of you already believe it. And for some of you, it's going to be new. I walked around for so many years like this. I don't know what my life purpose is. I don't know what my life purpose is. I was looking for this one thing that felt like a needle in a haystack. And that's not true. Now I understand my overriding theme of my life is to help and serve others. And how I want to do that is up to me. But the underlying core thing of me is I want to teach, serve, and inspire. How I want to do that, there's many opportunities and evolutions of that. Do you guys agree with that? That feels more malleable, right? That feels truer to me now. And if that feels true to you, take that on. What I have found, and actually why I started this group, the Empaths and Sensitives Facebook group, was at the core of who I am. It was empaths and sensitives. That was me. And it was the people that I was helping and hanging out with. I started this Facebook group in 2017. I mean, it's up to 90,000 people. And what I think our kind of people, what their real underlying thing is to help, teach, serve, coach. We really want to help others. Most of us. Some of us want to help the planet. Some of us want to help the animals. Some of us, we're in this area though of service in the world. That's what I have found is our underlying theme as sensitives and empaths. If you don't agree with that, that's okay. If your heart's calling you to something else, awesome. I can't find any greater joy than helping others. If you're not finding joy in helping others, you probably just have a mismanagement of energy and the exchange. If you're getting tapped out, that means you're probably not getting paid for your services. And I'm not saying you always need to get paid. There's plenty of times where I'm not getting paid, like service to my children, service to my husband, service to my family, my mom. Like there's a lot of things that, it's because I have a connection with those people. But if you are tapped out, there's a mismanagement of your energy, and that's it. Okay, I went off the rails a little bit. Let's talk about getting a little clearer then about your calling. Do you have this feeling inside of you right now, like Andrea said, like, now what? What's the next thing for me? What's the next step for me? Or it feels like this. You feel this tug in your heart that you're meant for more. You don't maybe know what it is, or maybe you do, but you feel that feeling inside of you. Yes or no in the chat. Deborah says, I find joy in helping others. It's a special feeling when I help others. Me too, Deborah. I can't feel a better feeling. I've tried. There's no greater feeling than knowing you made someone else's life better. I could cry when I just say the words. Deborah, I'm glad you're here. Okay, awesome. Please write these things down. The first thing I wanted you to write down or type in the chat is our calling or our life purpose will keep evolving. Who you were 20 years ago, you're different. You are evolving into something else now, and that's cool. Next mindset that I want you to type in the chat or write in your notes is, if you have a desire to do something in the world, that's part of your calling. There's an equal or greater need for it in the world that only you can provide. I'm going to say it again. If you have this tug in your heart, if you have a desire to do something, Please note that that's part of your calling. It is a breadcrumb, or it's a bump on the head. It could be really obvious or subtle. That's your calling. And there's an equal or greater need for it in the world that only you can provide. And isn't that amazing to think that you have this pull on your heart because there's a need for it in the world that only you could do, that only you could provide? I think that is such an amazing thing to think about. You wouldn't have I could cry. You wouldn't have the feeling inside of you if there wasn't a need for it in the world. I'm going to say it again, and I feel like I know I'm just saying things over and over again, but if I can get you guys to really start embodying this truth, this has changed my life, believing this. So I'm going to try to say it again. If you have a tug in your heart, this feeling of meant for more, or this feeling of now what, that is a breadcrumb, or that is a signal to your calling, your next calling. And there's an equal or greater need for it in the world that only you can provide. Awesome. Way to go. Thank you, Deborah, Andrea, Darlene. Awesome. Okay, write that down. I really put a Post-it, put it all over your house, put it on your bathroom mirror when you're brushing your teeth. If you keep saying that like I did for so many years, if I have a calling, if I have something on my heart, that means it's part of my calling. And there's a greater or equal need for it in the world that only I can provide. If you really start to embody that, it will give you so much energy, optimism, hope, momentum for you to step into the next thing that you're supposed to be doing. And that's an amazing life to live, right? I don't want us to be 90 something years old in our rockers. This is me. I picture myself in my rocker at 90, and I picture all my grandkids and great grandkids around, and they're asking me questions like, is it true you were a medium? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I did do that. That was amazing. And here's what I learned. Is it true you were an intuitive life coach? Is it true that you helped women build their businesses? Is it true? Is it true? And I want to tell them all the amazing stories of my amazing life. I don't want to sit in that rocking chair and go, yeah, that was a dream one time, but I never did anything with it. Yuck. That is a wasted life. I refuse to do that. I hope you feel the same way. Okay. So those are our mindset pieces. Write those down if they resonate with you. Post them. Listen to them every day. Say them every day. Get that truth into your subconscious mind. Okay, let's talk about some action steps now. So one of the things I did way back in the day is I heard someone say, follow your excitement or follow your interests. Follow them. And this seemed like it was a new concept to me. Follow my interest or excitement. So way back in the day, I didn't have much. I mean, I was healthy. I had a lot of things to be grateful for. But when in terms of like stepping into my life purpose or calling, I didn't know what to do. We didn't have the internet like we do today to get access to all the things that we can talk about now. So one of the things I did was, in my day, I would just think about all the opportunities I had or all the things I could do. And it was like, I remember my first one, it was like empty the dishwasher, clean the house, walk the dog. Like, I'm sure there were other possibilities, but I couldn't see them. Those were the only things I could see. So then I would have those three things in front of me, and I would choose based on what was the most interesting or exciting to me. And I forced myself to do that one first. So in that scenario, walking the dog brought the most joy. And honestly, it didn't even bring me a lot of joy. It felt, honestly, it was an obligation to take care of the dog and make sure the dog had exercise. And so it felt, but that out of the three, that one had the most ease to it. The one that would be probably the least hard or the most enjoyable. Okay. So I trained myself to look at all the choices I had and to start making choices based on my interest and excitement. Does that make sense? That simple training, I did it every day, day in, day out, day in, day out. I didn't unconsciously just do my work anymore. I laid out the choices. Again, there weren't that many that I could see, and I chose based on excitement and interest. What that did for me was I started to see everything as opportunities and choices. Things that I wouldn't have in the past. I started to see other opportunities, and I would ask myself, is that interesting and exciting? Do you want to go that way? So does that make sense? I started to train myself to see opportunities and ask myself, is this interesting and exciting to me? And if it was, I went down that path. I truly believe your interests and excitements are the breadcrumbs to your calling. It does not look linear. It doesn't look like the average life, like go to school, go to college, get married, have kids, get a job, or whatever the order is. This following the breadcrumbs of your excitement does not look linear. To the outside world, it looks a little nutty. It looks like ping, 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 ping. But we got to be strong enough to not care what anybody else thinks. In fact, I just kept all those things to myself. What I was doing, what I was interested in, I didn't really share them with anyone. I went out and did them quietly in the beginning. Okay, so that's one action step I want to share with you that has changed my life. That's really changed my life. Okay, good. Deborah says, I got it. It makes sense to me. I'm going to try it. Last two things. Here's what else I found. Once I followed my excitement, some resistance will show up. So one of the exciting things that I followed eventually was my interest in developing my psychic and intuitive abilities. I didn't even know I had them, but I was just interested in that world. And I actually signed up for an online course. Again, it was way back. Dial-up days was my first one. And then eventually I found a group of people in my own hometown. I was so nervous. I had so much resistance and fear around actually stepping into it that it almost stopped me. And I want you to keep an eye out for that yourself. And the ways it stopped me were, I didn't really notice it as fear. I just noticed it as I was too busy to go to class. My kids needed me. I have to stay home. The house is a mess. I got to clean the bathroom. Like whatever my normal, comfortable opportunities were, I fell back into them once I got uncomfortable in the new way. And eventually I recognized that this is just resistance, and I stuck with it anyway. And if you can stick with the exciting thing, even though you're probably going to bump up against resistance, because what are you doing? You're stretching yourself past your norm. You're growing, right? We're going to meet resistance in the growth. Does that make sense? Andrea just said, allowing fear to stop you equals no growth. It's so true. But the sneaky thing about fear is you may not recognize it as fear. Fear has like different masks. It has like overwhelm is fear in disguise. Just being busy with insignificant things and you making them significant is fear in disguise. Shiny object syndrome, fear in disguise. Quitting something early because it got tough or because you got busy or because it just wasn't for you is fear in disguise. Okay. And everyone feels the fear in the growth and the stretch. So just recognize that. And last piece, stay consistent. And this goes with what I just said. Stick with it for 90 days or longer. Think about your life right now. When you think, like, look at your life and think of 5 significant things in your life. Could you put them in the chat? 5 significant things in your life. 5 pivotal, significant things in your life. Type it in the chat. And hopefully someone will let me use theirs. 5 significant things in your life. People, events. This is a theory I have. I've never tried to prove it until right now, so it could go bust on me. But if someone is willing to put 5 significant things in the chat, I'd like to try it. When I did this for myself, when I listed 5 significant things, it was staying married, having children, yoga, psychic and intuitive development, becoming an entrepreneur. Those were the things that came up for me. And when I really sat with each one of those, the reason they are so significant and important to me now is because I stuck with them. And this isn't about sometimes we need to let things go and let people go. That's not what this is about. Today is just about sticking with things even when they get hard because you recognize them as resistance. And if you can stick with those things, they become so transformational in your life. Okay, Debbie, can I use yours? So Debbie said helping people, animal rescue, spirituality and intuitive development, work from home, relationship. Debbie, when you think, and thank you, Darlene and Leona and everybody else, that list you just made, is it true that you sticking with it consistently, even in the hard times, is what made it significant? Yes or no? Thank you, Debbie. Look at your list right now. Look at your list. And part of what's made it so transformational and rich and significant is because you stuck with it in the hard times. Awesome. Knowing that now, and I've known this about myself too, when I'm in the stretch of something new or following my calling and I hit a hard time, what I say to myself now is, you got to stick with it because this is where the transformation happens. This is where it gets rich. This is where the growth comes. This is where it's going to be significant in your life. If I collapse it when it gets hard, it's never going to be a significant event for me. If I hold steady, breathe through it, move through the resistance, even when it's hard, wobbly, scary, that's where the significance comes in. That's where the growth. That's when I look back at it in 10 years and I go, man, that really changed the trajectory of my life. But it only can be that for you if you stick with it. Debbie says nothing worthwhile has ever been easy. Amen. Okay, so I know I went through a lot today, but this was me trying to inspire you and give you some mindset and action steps to take on getting clear about your calling. Do you have any questions? Type your question in the chat if you have one, and I'm going to go through it real quick, a review. We went through a few mindset pieces. Your calling is always evolving. This feeling inside of you, there's an equal or greater need for it in the world that only you can provide. And you're the only one who can move and step forward and fulfill your life purpose. No one else can do it for you. Action step, follow your excitement. Let them be breadcrumbs. It won't look linear. It'll look like ding, 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 and just trust it. Because in a few years from now, or a month from now, or a year from now, when you look back, you're going to go, oh, when I was in it, it looked like ding, 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 ding. And now as the older, your smarter, higher version self, your wiser self looks back and goes, oh, I see how that all was strung together. That's fascinating. So you got to trust that process. You got to trust yourself in following your excitement. Stay consistent with it. Stick with it. Let it become a significant transformational thing in your life that only happens through sticking with it. And then recognize resistance or self-sabotage, distraction, fear, overwhelm, shiny object, being too busy, falling back on your old behaviors. Those are all ways that we keep ourselves in our comfort zone. And we're here to live. We're here to live and grow and evolve. Now more than ever, for us and sensitive souls, there truly is after what we just been through, there is a greater need for our help. Can you feel it? Now more than ever, there are more people that need help. And that's why you're feeling the tug. Okay, all that to say, I hope this was helpful for you today. I don't have all the pieces set up for this yet, but I am doing a challenge in about 3 weeks. August 1st, I'm doing the live 5-day challenge, Become a Prosperous Intuitive Life Coach. I just put the link in the chat. I haven't checked the link yet. I'm going to cross my fingers that it's working. If it's not, you guys will let me know. And after this, I'll go in and double check. I'm going to do the 5-day challenge. Like I said, it's called Become a Prosperous Intuitive Life Coach. It's a 5-day event. And actually, we're going to have bonus days after that. I'm going to teach you all about my 4 pillars that I use with my clients as an intuitive life coach. That's the easy part for me to teach you. And then we're also going to be talking about the prosperous part. How do you make a living as a coach? Because why can't we do this for a living? Why can't we help people for a living? That's what I do, and that's what I want to help other women do. If it calls to you, if it doesn't call to you, let this go and go find what's exciting to you. And if this does sound exciting to you, sign up. We will be together starting August 1st, live for over a week. And I literally am going to give you everything I got. I'm also going to show you behind the scenes of my own intuitive life coaching business, where I'm at multiple 6 figures now. It is possible for all of us who want that. Okay, thanks so much. The link's in the chat. If you don't see the link and want the link, just say link, and I'll make sure I come back here and get you the link. I'll make sure to pin it somewhere also. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Have a great day. Bye.